Quick story before we get into this. Recently, I was live on Twitch and doing some impromptu and not very good impressions of singers in the scene. And someone asked me to do the Pearl Jam singer. And I said, well, don't they just have that one hit song? Because I don't know their discography really at all. Pearl Jam, you know, I wasn't quite in the grunge era. So I'm not really that familiar with them. So Carrie, who was watching that day, has taken it upon themselves to request 2 songs by Pearl Jam, not called Alive, which is the only one I knew, for me to check out. So first of all, we're going to check out a song called Rearviewmirror, and then one called, Jesus, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town. Okay, so here we go. Pearl Jam, Suck to Me, and go. Is that a llama? This is from 11 years ago on YouTube, but that might be when the song was out. Alright. More kind of punky than I expected. I guess it was a beating. Yeah, faster pace than I'd expect. Guitars and bass and kind of lock it into the same shape of progressive. I couldn't breathe, holding me down, hand on my face. It's a lovely voice. Yeah, it makes me think a little bit of like Gaslight Anthem of the modern era. Kind of vibey rock. Curious rhythm to the melody choices in the verses here. Quite spacious, sparing. Just on my plate, swallowed it down. It's definitely got like an old school production to it. Delicate cymbal work here. Okay, bass is coming back in here. Hinting at the driving beat returning. Let's go. Nice. It definitely seems of an era. Kind of like acid rock, sort of, if that's a fair comparison. Very lengthy jam out. I'm hearing moments from like the modern bands I know, like Foo Fighters in here and Queens of the Stone Age a bit. Kings of Leon. No doubt all of them have been influenced by Pearl Jam. Got the different pan vocals. The instrumental is just fairly kind of consistently repeating itself. The vocals, the main differentiator. Okay. Beefing it up with more snare hits on the 4 count. 8 notes on the bass drum. I like that the guitar wasn't super dominant, the lead guitar part there. It's just within the rest. Okay, this kind of surprised me. Again, I only know a live song, but that was a more fast-paced thing than I expected. It's kind of cool. I mean, obviously, like, part of it is it's an older musical production style. Like, they're not maximizing as much the audio spectrum with full impact. So it's kind of almost kind of quiet and subdued in its own way. I'm sure live, for example, that would be an epic wall of sound that's got that driving drum beat behind it. But as a listening experience now, kind of first time in 2025, it's like, it seems like kind of chilled out, which is kind of nice. Didn't mind it. By the way, if you enjoyed this video or you'd like me to make one of these first-time reaction and review videos to your favorite songs, do head over to steveog.com and you can request any music to be analyzed in this way that you'd like by myself. So do consider visiting that website. Elderly woman behind the counter in a small town. And go.
I seem to recognize
louder. It's your acoustic. Bass.
Familiar, yeah. I can't seem to place it. Cannot find the candle of thought.
Almost Bob Dylan-esque in places.
Name. Lifetimes are catching up with me. All these changes.
But a much more pleasant, for me, voice than Bob Dylan.
I wish I'd seen the place, but no one's ever taken.
Slight sort of vibrato thing going on. A little wavering.
Hearts and thoughts, they fade away. Hearts and thoughts, they fade.
When did this come out?
Away. I swear I recognize your breath. Memories like fingerprints I slowly erase.
1993.
You wouldn't recall, or I'm not my fault.
Ooh.
It's hard when
clarity of that note.
You're stuck up on the shelf. I changed by not changing at all. Small town predicts.
Yeah, I didn't know they had acoustics in them like this.
Perhaps that's what
Kind of folky.
no one wants to see. I just wanna scream.
But I also hear the likes of like Creed, Stained in this.
My God, it's been so long.
Must have
Never
influenced them too.
dreamed you'd return. But now here you are, and here I am. My heart's and
But strange melody choices from the main.
away. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away. Hearts
Nice
and
details from the right
thoughts,
pan guitar.
fade away. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away. Hearts and thoughts, they fade
The lyrics and the visualizer don't always match up
away.
with what you hear.
Hearts and thoughts, they fade
Little hi-hat at the end.
Hearts and thoughts, they fade away. Hearts and thoughts, they
That's quite interesting. I don't think I've heard an artist do that before. So the song fades out at the end, but not just in the volume of the faders in the studio just slowly going down, but also the vocal delivery. He was getting quieter with his voice. You could hear his more gentle and kind of breathy. That's interesting. So clearly in the recording process, like we want this to fade out. Let's also drop the volume of my performance as I'm doing it. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I've heard like one song by Pearl Jam, the big Alive song. So I haven't heard these songs before. I didn't know they had more of a kind of fast-paced sort of driving. I guess kind of. I don't know. I use this term quite loosely, but like acid rock sort of a vibe to them. But also this acoustic-y, folky thing I didn't know they had. I assume Pearl Jam were more of a like loud alt rock grunge sort of thing, pretty much entirely based on the one song I heard repeatedly on whatever fucking MTV2 TV channel it was I was watching them on. And I liked it, but I think it didn't grab me as much because it's kind of a bit more of an old school sound. And for me, there's a lot of repetition within the song. Like back then, it's like we write a song and the song will typically be 5 to 6 minutes long. In the modern era, songs are much shorter, generally like 2.5 minutes to, what is going on in my voice? Excuse me. 2.5 minutes to like 4, maybe at the max. Even a 4-minute song these days, I'm like, oh, it's a bit long. You need a reason to do that. And it's not just repeat the same chord progression again and again, or the same tone or section, make it go on for 16, 32 bars. So there seems to be more of that going on in this era, which I think works really well if you're not like actively analyzing and trying to see what interesting nuggets are in there, because there were some details in there that changed and varied. Like there was some nice right pan in the headphone, like lead guitar moments happening in the acoustic song that I noticed I enjoyed, or there's slight lyrical variations going on in melodies and also in lyric choices in the first song I noticed a little bit. So there are little details here and there, but largely it's very, here's the vibe, we sit in that vibe, and kind of there's a lot of repetition for me. And the production I thought on the acoustic one was better. That was more present and close to me. The first one, there was I don't know, like a lightness to it, or a lack of like oomph somehow, despite it being kind of a pacey rock song, which maybe I'm coming to this at the wrong era, so I kind of think like, I don't know, there's a bit of a weaky sort of sound to it that doesn't quite grab me as much as other things I am listening to the first time these days. But, you know, what's really been fun about this is hearing comparisons in my head of a lot of other bands from like the year 2000 onwards that I'm noticing this sounds like the precursor to all of them, because I'm sure it fucking is. And that's the kind of cool thing. You can hear the foundations being started by Pearl Jam and their music that people have then gone on to elaborate on and make new and more interesting in some ways. And what's cool about that is respect. Respect given to Pearl Jam for what they managed to do and originate. The unfortunate side of that is looking back at this after the fact of hearing these much more varied and interesting developments on those building blocks that they built, this seems a little bit on the basic side now, because I'm coming to it now in 2025. That's the only thing. So I'm here for these. If I'd heard these for the first time in the 90s, I'm sure I would have a very different opinion. But I think they're good songs. They're grand. I like them. I wouldn't mind hearing them again. I'm not going to immediately go back and rewind. I wasn't like, oh, fuck, what a tune. Let me hear that again. It's like, oh, this is very pleasant. This is a lovely sound overall. I like the character of the man's voice. And I like there's some nice details and cymbal work the drummer's doing. Nice textures here and there. But interesting. Either way, interesting to hear another couple songs by Pearl Jam. A couple surprises in there I didn't really expect. Kind of delightful.